77 WABC invites you to a family fun day and softball showdown on July 20th with net proceeds benefiting Shriners Children's. John Sterling will call the game as the FDNY takes on the NYPD with special guests Dwight Gooden, Art Shamsky, 77 WABC hosts, including Sid Rosenberg, Anthony Cumia, Lionel, Dominic Carter, and many more. For more info and to buy tickets, go to ShrinersChildren'sChampions.org. That's ShrinersChildren'sChampions.org.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It is indeed the Anthony Cumia Show. Welcome back to it. Had a last week off. 4th of July, vacation stuff, hanging out, stuck in airports. All the fun things that 2025 holds for Americans these days. Nonsense. A lot of nonsense. I'm not going to get into the particulars of air travel, personally, you know. But overall, I think everybody knows what I'm talking about. Nothing is on time anymore. Every single flight is delayed or canceled if you're really lucky. You're just making flight reservations for 3 different flights every time you fly, just in case. Then you got to cancel them. It's just nothing works anymore. Everything's busted. Everything's busted in this country. I don't know. Maybe I'm being pessimistic this week. I don't know. I've spoken to with a lot of people. They seem to be of the same school of thought. Things seem a little busted. And a lot of people obviously want to blame it on Trump, and Trump, we will get into it this evening. You know me, people. I am a supporter of Donald Trump. This doesn't mean I have to just blindly go along with everything and enjoy it. There's a lot going on that I'm not happy with. I don't agree with. And a lot of Trump supporters are. That's what it's like to be a real thinking human being in this country. You just don't go, oh, who? Yeah, I love that. I love that regardless of whatever. That's what we saw the Biden-Harris supporters, brainwashed people, zombies, whatever you want to call them. That's what we saw them do. Now, I would like to think we're not like that. And for everything Trump does that's good, that we like, that we voted for, that's wonderful. And we crow about it and talk about our support for Donald Trump and America. But then when we see other things going on, we step back and go, nope, that ain't it. That wasn't what we were talking about. How'd that happen? But it also doesn't mean you, what did my mom used to say? Throw the baby away with the bathwater. You don't throw the baby away with the bathwater. I love those horrific oldie-time sayings that conjure up these unbelievably terrible images. Where's the baby? Bathwater was bad. Had to throw them both out. What are you, nuts? But, yeah, it's you can be disappointed. You cannot like certain aspects of the Trump administration. Certainly of late, I talk to a lot of people who feel that way. But it doesn't mean like, oh, that's it. I'm not supporting him. I'm revoking any support I've ever had for the guy. And then I see other guys like Dave Smith. I love Dave. Dave's a very good friend of mine. I know Dave Smith for many years. And to get on and then just go, I want to apologize for having voted for Trump and having told people or recommended they vote for Trump. Like, that's, again, baby bathwater. Be unhappy. Talk about it. That's what we're going to do tonight. You want to talk about it? 800-848-9222. We'll get into it. But the Epstein thing, let's, get right to the old meat and potatoes of what this is about. This seems to me, as a Trump supporter, to be some type of, I hate to use the word cover up because that conjures up great conspiratorial pictures. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's that. It is something of a, what is it? It makes you feel, as a supporter, as someone that voted for Trump, as someone that listened to his platform and listened to the promises. We heard promises made, promises kept. That was a big part of the Trump campaign and then getting into office. And for Trump to come out and say stuff like, why are people still talking about Epstein? Why are the case is closed? Why would you keep wanting this list? And why? Well, I'll tell you why. Because we listened to you at the podiums of many rallies and when you were running for president, a lot of the speeches you gave, that was part of it. Remember? We'll see the Epstein list. We're going to see it. Like that was the thing. It was the deep state, the swamp, keeping that from the American people. Who are the people? You have Epstein. You got Ghislaine, whatever her name is, whatever happened there. She's languishing in prison. And then we're led to believe that barely anything happened. There was no list. There's no victims. I don't know. We hear about victims, but that's about it. If there's victims, there has to be bad people involved too, and we don't hear about that. So it was very disingenuous. It made us feel like we were taken, in a way. I'm not sitting there because I know a lot. I look at a lot of social media, and you see these liberals, these they hate Trump regardless of anything. They were totally behind the screwball Biden and Kamala, and they're like, there it is. There it is. Finally, a few of these MAGA people are realizing the mistake they made. No, there's no mistake here, ladies and gentlemen. I assure you. I really don't care about. I would totally throw away the Epstein thing. I don't care. Put it on the back burner. Take it off the stove. If it kept Kamala Harris from being president, that's really the bottom line here. Would I have said, wow, I so wish that all the Trump voters would have just voted for Kamala Harris so we'd have her and Walz as president and vice president? Of course. No. Never. Could never, ever happen. So when stuff like this happens, I'd rather we all remain rational thinking humans and talk it out, voice our displeasure with a lot of the stuff we're seeing. Deception is the word I was looking for. We feel deceived. And people don't like that. People do not like that. And when Trump was running during both of his terms, when he was running, the whole message was that America will not be deceived. You will get a transparent presidency. We will know what's going on. There won't be these swamp secrets. Justice will be served upon those who deserve to have justice, the hand of justice put on them. And it was going good. That's how we feel. We felt that that's what was going on. We heard a lot of talk. You hear a lot of talk about people that are going to get their comeuppance. And there are congressional hearings and Senate hearings, and you'll go, oh, boy, they got him that time. Oh, I can't wait to see what happens because they nailed him that time. And nothing ever happens. And it's disheartening. You feel like, what's the use? What is the use? So with this latest thing, with the Epstein debacle, that's why we're still talking about Epstein and the island and this list that may or may not or had, but now doesn't exist. The reason we're talking about it is because it was one of the selling points that Donald Trump had when he stood up at those podiums and told everyone we're going to make America great again. We're going to lower prices. That's good. I've noticed lower prices. Energy, way lower than it was a year ago. Even the war thing, obviously we've gotten our snouts into some issues that I wish we hadn't. But, we don't have any real soldiers being deployed to these war zones right now. But the justice for all thing, we're gonna sort out this Epstein thing because we know it's evil. We know it's evil at some of the top levels of government, entertainment, the corporate world. They're all involved in this. And we've known about it for so long, but they've never been able to really get that smoking gun. And we were assured that under a Trump administration, we would see that smoking gun. Pam Bondi's going to get in there, and Dan Bongino. They're all going to get in there. All of them are going to uncover it and show the world in all its gruesome colors. Well, then we're told nothing exists. It doesn't have. He committed suicide. Minute tape missing. Case closed. Don't want to talk about it. And then Trump gets all pissy when you start bringing up, why? Why are they talking about him? That was your selling point. So there are a lot of issues here that we should go over. I was in Austin over the weekend. Wonderful city of Austin, Texas. What a weird place, man. It's a party city. That nightlife there is nuts. You walk around, your eyes will fall out of your head by the various states of undress. Some of these Texas fed girls are walking around. It's nuts. We were doing a comedy show, myself, Gavin, and Josh, and I said to the crowd, are you happy with what's going on as far as the Epstein thing goes with Trump? And just boos. Boo, no. They actually did the same thing when I was introduced. It was a weird self-deprecating humor. I hear people like that. But people were booing. These were steadfast, hardcore Trump supporters. I don't think they're going anywhere else, but they were voicing their displeasure with what's been going on. And rightly so. Rightly so. We'll get into it. I see some of the phone lines popping up, 800-848-9222. And we'll continue with this Epstein-Trump Bondi debacle right after these words. More of the Anthony Cumia Show.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Yes, more of the Anthony Cumia Show. Thank you for your support, people. We do appreciate it. We're talking about obviously the Jeffrey Epstein thing, how Trump and his team have been dealing with it from the campaign trail up into months now into his presidency, and the definite difference, the different tone we're hearing between the then and the now. It's hard to put into context. A lot of Trump supporters are angry at the way Trump and the administration, especially, Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi, who at 60 is amazing looking. I don't know why I felt I had to throw that in, but I felt I had to throw that in. So she's like Trump. She has been pushing this Epstein thing to gain popularity points. She knows it's an issue that a lot of people, especially people on the right, and it's anyone on the right, the far, far crazy conspiracy right, and, middle of the road right, they would like to see what the hell was going on and who the hell was doing it. And they were pushing it. And it amounts to clickbait. This was clickbait for us. Remember they gave those binders out to some social media influencers, and they're they're going to read them and going to post it on X, and it's going to be this modern new way instead of the lying media telling you stuff. This is the new media, so your friends and influencers will uncover what happened on Epstein Island and who was involved. And nothing came of that. It was all redacted garbage that we had seen and heard before. And we heard Bondi say, oh, the files are on my desk. We're reviewing them and we're going to put them out. Like there was something there. There was something there that we were going to go, finally, an administration that is exposing this stuff instead of keeping it under wraps for decades and decades, and we never know what happened. And then we get the same exact thing. We get the same exact thing we've gotten for years. Lies, deceit, cover up, like I said, perhaps. But something has to give here. People aren't happy. And I'll tell you another thing. Those midterms come around pretty quickly after a presidential election. And the midterms are based completely on what happens with the president those first 2 years. If they don't feel he's doing what he said he was going to do at the campaign podium, they lose the House and perhaps the Senate. And now you're stuck with a lame duck president for 2 years. It's hard enough. Look how difficult it is for the Trump administration to get anything done with the House and the Senate. Now imagine a blue wave during the midterms, and that's it. Nothing else will get done. You think we're just getting a lot of talk now? You will see nothing, absolutely nothing get accomplished. So, I think it's a bad move for Trump to have pumped people with this expectation that we were going to see something different, and we didn't see anything different. Nothing. He put out a post, a big, long chick post. It's like a girl. This is about Bondi, and so he says, what's going on with my boys, and in some cases, gals? They're all going after Attorney General Pam Bondi, who's doing a fantastic job. We're on one team, MAGA, and I don't like what's happening. We have a perfect administration. The talk of the world, and selfish people are trying to hurt it. All over a guy who never dies, Jeffrey Epstein. Well, Donald, first of all, is Pam Bondi doing a fantastic job? I can't tell you one thing of substance she's done yet. There were so many instances where Pam Bondi was going to be the be-all, tell-all, saving grace of the Justice Department. We were finally going to see people get what they deserved for things like the 34 felony charges against Donald Trump, the fake political prisoners that were the January 6th people arrested at the Capitol. All of that nonsense. Adam Schiff, what's he been up to? All of them. Their money, the insider trading Nancy Pelosi's been doing. All of this garbage that we've seen. And Pam Bondi jumps all over this Epstein thing and then says, all right, that was nothing. And that's all we've seen. And I'm supposed to take that as a, quote, fantastic job, unquote, from Donald Trump? I don't think so. And I'm no genius here. I'm not figuring anything out that many people aren't figuring out right along with me. So there's plenty of people that are thinking the same exact thing I am. And it's not good. It's not good. For years, it's Epstein over and over again. Why are we giving publicity to files written by Obama, crooked Hillary, Comey, Brennan, and the losers and criminals of the Biden administration who can con the world with the Russia hoax 51 intelligence agents, the laptop from hell, and more. Well, if that was the case, Donald, we would be thinking that. But you sold it. You were selling us the Epstein thing. Bondi was selling it. To some extent, Bongino also. I mean, maybe since he became the undersecretary of the FBI, maybe he thinks differently. But when he was on Fox News, it's all we heard about was this case and Epstein and what should be done and why aren't we doing more. So, you can't blame everything on Hillary and Comey and the dossier and just all the nonsense we've seen. They haven't even given up on the JFK or Martin Luther King Jr. files. Well, what are we going to see there? It's another case of nothing. We heard about that. We're getting the JFK and Martin Luther King files. Nothing. Stop with this nonsense then and give us something real. Send the judicial department, the Justice Department, after the things that make a difference, that we actually want to see taken care of. It's astounding and very angering, and it's taking a lot more time than one or two breaks. We'll be back in moments with more of the Anthony Cumia Show. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Yes, we are back. The Anthony Cumia Show. And a lot to talk about with the Trump Epstein thing. I mean, I have a list. No, I don't have a list. I have a list of things that people have been bringing up. And, Pam Bondi, is she going to go? It doesn't sound like it after reading a lot of this Trump, his Trump manifesto. I don't think he's going to get rid of her. Does that mean Bongino goes or Kash Patel goes because she's staying? Well, past day or so, it doesn't seem like that either. They seem like they're rah-rah, all behind Trump and Bondi. But again, I've seen things where it says that there might be. Bongino might resign. So no one knows what's going on with anything. It's infuriating. And then Trump says things like, no matter how much success we've had securing the border, deporting criminals, fixing the economy, energy dominance, a safer world where Iran will not have nuclear weapons, it's never enough for some people. Never enough. He's sounding like Tony Soprano's mother. I did everything for you children. It wasn't enough. Oh, Lord, take me now. It's never enough for some people. We do like those things. Even Trump puts it in a one thing or the other category. You either like what I've done and love me, or you don't like every single thing I've done and you hate me. Well, it doesn't work that way. It's not supposed to work that way. Yeah, I like energy dominance. I like the deportations, fixing the economy. We all love that. That's what we voted for. But then when we bring up something that you really pushed, and it's like, who, what? Who's Epstein? Never heard of him. It makes it feel like you're being a little deceptive. The left is imploding. Kash Patel and the FBI must be focused on investigating voter fraud, political corruption, Act Blue, the rigged and stolen election of 2020, and arresting thugs and criminals instead of spending month after month looking at nothing but the same old radical left-inspired documents on Jeffrey Epstein. I could sit here and say it a million times. You're the one that really brought it to the forefront and said this was going to be exposed. And, a very good point is brought up, and I don't think you could talk about this without mentioning it. Elon said Trump was on that list. Trump may have been blackmailed or compromised. And you're looking at a guy that looks like that is doing things that a guy that is compromised would do. You're not going to let it out. You're not going to show anyone. Nothing exists. It's okay. These aren't the files you're looking for. It just, if he's trying not to look guilty, he's not doing a good job of it. We're seeing it. We're seeing a guy that pushed this list and this Epstein thing and the pedophile island and all that other stuff. And now we're just supposed to wipe it out of our minds. It never happened. We got much bigger fish to fry for the Justice Department here. Well, I'm not happy with it. Let's just say that. I'm not even saying I don't buy it, because I don't know one way or the other. My whole take on a lot of things over the course of these years, this decade especially, has led me to believe I cannot be sure of anything. And that seems like what they were really trying to do. Just sow uncertainty in the American people's minds. Because I can't come up with a valid argument against anything. There seems to be plausible deniability for everything. You could come up with an argument, but it's not definitive. I can't definitively tell you that Epstein is alive or dead. Can't do it. I can't definitively tell you if there's a list. I can't definitively tell you if anything even happened on that island. Who knows? I think so. Most probably. But why can't we definitely say it? Because things are being kept from you to make that that definitive assumption in your head and call it fact. And why is that? Should be easy to get to the truth, especially something like that. Pam Bondi herself said there were a bunch of tapes, lots and lots of tapes. And we had heard about the tapes, how they were being used to blackmail people, people of power, politicians, entertainers, corporate executives and owners. And then we hear there's tapes and she goes, oh, they'll never be seen. They're all just child abuse. They're being abused in horrible ways in these videos. Well, by who? Maybe you can, I don't know, blur that out, edit that part out, and we could see the bright shining face of the piece of crap that's doing the harm to a child. Can we see the perpetrator? Who they are? Why was Jeffrey Epstein arrested? What evidence is there? I heard he was trafficking children. To who? Who was he trafficking to? So it just reeks of cover-up. Reeks of cover-up. Let's go to Joaquin in Pennsylvania. Joaquin, what's up?
Oh, good evening, Anthony Cumia. Yeah, this is all very interesting, okay?
Right.
And honestly, I really believe that this is designed to show the Trump administration as being incompetent. And I have to wonder who actually got to Trump. Remember, they already actually did shoot him, okay?
Oh, yeah.
And they killed Kennedy, and they also shot Reagan, you know?
Yeah.
And Roger Stone has some very interesting stuff on that. So you really have to look at it. I mean, first of all, yes, Epstein, there was a body, for sure. But then there's all the things. It was a suicide, and they're covering that up. But you have to wonder then, you know, are they telling Trump, well, you know, his administration, you covered up because it's national security? Well, guess what? If we're going to victimize children in the name of national security, what kind of a nation are we? All right.
Right. I've heard that. Yeah.
Put it out, but they should at the very least determine that, you know, say, no, Epstein actually did commit suicide, because there's no way in heck that you're going to show that that this leaves an open question. This is really just designed to take out the GOP, as worthless as most of them are, not all of them, you know, in the midterms. And you look at the track record, 2022, the midterms, okay? Guess what? I told my wife when they overturned Roe versus Wade.
Yeah.
I told her, that is the end of the red tsunami, Okay, there's a deep state operation, and that was used to actually thwart the red tsunami in 2022. And as far as Trump 1 went, his first administration, this country was doing so remarkably well, probably the best it's ever done, in its history, because the way the economy was going, from a blue-collar point of view, I could lay out dollar for dollar how it affected me.
I agree. Until they dumped COVID on us.
Exactly. They sent COVID. Somebody sent COVID, and we were funding Wuhan.
I don't doubt that.
Well, you could actually find it. I saw it online under the Obama administration. Wuhan was being funded by us.
So. Again, more stuff that adds up, but that final calculation can't be made because they have plausible deniability. And, even though I from what I've seen, I think everything points to a purposefully released disease over the world just to get their power back in America.
Now, you know what? And here's a few other things. Okay, I think that there's a globalist deep state agenda. Again, I have to take Trump out, and let's take a look at something else. Pence and Musk. WTF? Where did that come from? Why would Elon Musk find himself with him? Okay,
right.
And now you got Obama and Bush both coming out of the woodwork together against Trump and Musk shutting down the USAID. All right. And as a matter of fact, if Mike Pence, he sits there and he tries to say he's such a good Christian. Well, I got news for you. This thing about taking the Lord's name in vain, well, he's the perfect example of it, because you're doing all these things and you're cloaking it in your Christianity. And then meanwhile, you sent thousands of people to prison because you knew what, the real story was. Plus, you bore false witness against your neighbor. And again, as far as the J6s go, do unto others, as you would have. As you do unto others, you do unto me. So I he better examine his Christianity as far as that goes. And so all of this is designed to stop Trump at the midterms and to make him look incompetent, to get MAGA out of the picture.
But how do you just let them do that? Like, Trump did he fall right into their little trap? If their trap was to make him not expose what was going on Epstein Island and the people that were involved, why doesn't he just go, oh, yeah, you showed me, huh? I'll release everything.
Right. Well, he should do that. He very well could be afraid that, they could very easily kill him and his family and everyone around him. They obviously showed that, Let's face it, Butler, that was not incompetence. Okay. You got to be kidding me.
I was waiting to hear what your answer was to that, they're scaring the living crap out of him. And maybe that's why he's a little more malleable these days than he was the first term. Joaquin, thanks, man. I got to move on. That makes a lot of sense. Maybe he's not compromised to the level of being on videos or lists or horrible things like that. But who's to say the American government or whatever there is above that, whoever's really pulling the strings, doesn't just tell Trump, hey, you want to see a few other angles of your attempted assassination? You want to see the guy with the scope right on your head? And then he says, watch me move this right before he moves it. And we'll show you that to show that you didn't get lucky. We just didn't do it right then and there, but we can. Like, that's a horrifying scenario. If you're Trump and now you're going, oh, okay, so they can off me at any time and I get my orders handed down to me. And regardless of what I said or promised, I have to adhere to these orders. I could do other things. They give me a little free rein with, gas prices maybe, or rounding up some illegals. But for the most part, I got to stick to the script, or, there's some very good examples of people that might not have stuck to the script. So I don't know. It's a little creepy. Who's this? Point Chris, Bethpage, what's up?
Hey, Anthony, I got to say, I like you, but I must say, you're really, really disappointing me here.
Okay.
Let me tell you. Okay. I'm
Dad?
Tell you what.
Is this you, Dad?
Yeah, no, I know. It's I don't want to come down like your dad, but I'm going to say this, Anthony, okay? I will call back, I promise, periodically, and I will tell you this is going to have a zero effect on the midterm elections, and I mean zero.
Okay.
Everybody like me voted for Trump, and I'll tell you, you know what the big story is right now, and you're not covering it, but, you know, it's kind of boring, but I wouldn't cover it either, but I worked out on Wall Street. All we care about is the tariffs and how he's negotiating the tariffs. So nobody talks about Epstein. I know you're doing it, you know, for radio, and Joaquin was there, and he said, oh, it's going to affect the midterm elections, or they can kill him. Listen, let's just take a real pill here, please. The tariffs are huge.
Chris. Yeah.
I'm not talking down to you. I'm really not. I'm just telling you that.
I know. Boy, you're a little defensive, but I'm just going to say I understand what you're saying. There are things that really matter, and then things that seem to matter much more because of the publicity it gets, and it's more fun to talk about. You're right. Tariffs are boring, but what do you think? I don't have investments. I don't have my money shoved here and there, and I don't pay attention to how important tariffs are and how they could tank a stock or raise a stock in one day. Believe me, Chris, I understand that. But unfortunately, when it comes to the majority of voting people in this country, Epstein matters more than tariffs. I swear, that's how I have to honestly believe I feel here, Mr. Chris.
Well, so, Anthony, you're saying that, and I said, I'm going to stand up. I'm going to be a stand-up guy. I'm going to call you a year from now, and we're going to see what matters more. If this Epstein thing is going to go the way of the Signal with Pete Hegseth, and there's about 50 things that were big stories that have nothing to do with what people care about. We care about the border. We care about, ICE. Like you said, inflation coming down. Is the Fed going to lower the interest rates? Your portfolio, tariffs. That's what people vote on. Not one person. Come on, let's face it. Did anyone vote for Trump based on, I'm going to release the Epstein files? That was probably number 15 on the list of why somebody would go to the poll and vote.
But I think, I think you're missing the big picture here as far as the Epstein thing is concerned. It's not literally the Epstein thing that is affecting Trump. I don't care. I really don't care about what the Epstein thing is. But I do care in the way it was manipulated during the campaign. And now we're looking at a bunch of people, including Trump and Bondi and Bongino and Kash Patel, saying, what are you talking about? This was never anything. It's nothing. Screw it. Like, the deception is the story here, Chris. Not Epstein. I don't care about Epstein. I don't care who the frig he took to the islands or what have you. It's the perceived deception on the part of Trump and his administration to the people that voted for him. Do you see how that's more important than the Epstein thing, even though it's called the Epstein thing?
No, of course I do. I mean, it's analogous to Watergate. You know what I mean? It really was such a stupid crime, but it was the major cover-up. And Nixon had nothing to do with the original break-in. But once he found out about it, it's kind of like with Trump now. And I get you. I'm not here to say that Trump's handled this right by any means. I'm just as frustrated. And I voted for the guy. And I'm pissed off about this, too. I am. I just wanted you to pump the brakes a little bit on midterms of next year.
Point taken, Chris. I appreciate that. I like being, let people know. People let me know, like, pump the brakes. I like how you put that, and I appreciate that, Chris. Thanks for the call, my man. It's, it's. I'm not saying Chris is wrong, but there's this weird difference between what actually is and what the perception is. And again, the Epstein thing, I don't care. Do you think people really cared if George H.W. Bush was going to raise taxes in his next administration, or in his administration when he was running, when he said, read my lips, no new taxes. And everyone went, yay. And then he raised the taxes. And people said, screw him, I'm not voting for him. And, we got Bill Clinton. do you think it was the taxes? Do you think if he never said, read my lips, no new taxes, and just raised the taxes, that he wouldn't have gotten elected for a second term because he raised taxes? No. It was the fact that he said no new taxes and then raised them. That sometimes what you say is bigger than what the subject of what you're talking about even is. And as far as I see this, and I feel it, I'm not just reading stuff and go, oh, is that how I should feel? I feel deceived a bit with this whole Epstein thing. So it's what it is, man. It's I think they will have to deal with this in the midterms, and I expect a call from Chris in 1 year. We'll be back. Plenty to talk about on the Anthony Cumia Show in moments.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. Thank you for tuning in. And boy, I missed it last week. I missed coming in here and doing the show and trying to pick the most difficult job ever, but I enjoy doing it. Trying to pick who the hell is the clown of the week.
The Anthony Cumia Show presents the Clown of the Week.
Now, if these weeks add up, and then it's a yearly thing where you add them up and you look at the clown of the week over the course of the 52 weeks, and you have to pick a clown of the year, this guy would absolutely be in contention. He'd be right up there, top of the list. Not the first time he's been the clown of the week. But I think you'll know why it isn't the first time when I say his name. It is, of course, Adam Schiff. Adam Schiff. Shifty Schiff. Adam Schiff, this past week, said that we need a nonpartisan justice system. Can you believe a guy involved in every single kangaroo court concocted legal lawfare that has gone on? He's been a big part of each of those. And now that he's not in the driver's seat anymore, he wants a nonpartisan justice system. Because what are we seeing? Are we seeing a partisan justice system? I don't think so. I think we're seeing less than that. Adam Schiff, here he is talking about how we need a nonpartisan justice system.
I think we have to really try to get back to having a intelligence community, a Justice Department, an FBI that is ruthlessly nonpartisan. And we have to have the kind of leadership that can establish that and be credible about it. But you're right. I mean, their modus operandi, and it comes from the top, the fish rots from the head, is Donald Trump, whose real view, his life view is, yes, he's crooked, and yes, he's a liar, but everyone is crooked. Everyone is a liar. Everybody does it. It's just that he's the crook and the liar of the GOP. And right. That's what distinguishes him. So I do think that Trump and others like Kash Patel, they think of others as they would do themselves. And they can't imagine someone actually operating differently. But in the future, we're going to have to restore, and it'll be hard work and laborious, both the rule of law, but also the public's trust in the rule of law.
The public's trust. Does this idiot actually believe that during the Biden-Harris administration, people trusted the rule of law? People trusted that if charges were brought against people, that their political ideology wouldn't come into play? After what we saw happen to the January 6th light vandalizers, I like to call them. And like we saw with Trump's charges and the subsequent convictions, just something you've never seen. Charges that were brought on him that Letitia James, the AG in New York, actually sold her election. She sold herself to the people saying, I am going to get Donald Trump. Well, what do you have? What crimes has he committed that you're going to go after? Oh, I don't have any crimes. I don't have anything, but I'm going to get him. That's a nonpartisan judicial system where you make up a crime to get someone instead of waiting till a crime has been committed and then bringing justice on that person for that crime. And Schiff, who's been part of, like I said before, so many blatant lies, the Russia collusion thing, he committed perjury, absolutely committed perjury by lying and saying that he had evidence and information that Donald Trump's campaign was working with the Russians. And what came of that? He said that under oath and nothing. We got nothing out of it. And there he is on one of these horrible news shows saying how we need to get the public trust back. See, and this is the stuff that I can't stand when this Epstein nonsense has to tarnish the Trump administration, which was selling to the people that we are going to go after legitimate criminals and people that have committed crimes against this country and illegal aliens and the corruption. We are going after that. And then you get something like this, and now they can just run with it. It's terrible. I hope people put it in context. But when you get someone like Schiff crowing out there with his chest out, it's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of work to regain the public trust. What, to the level it was at under Biden? No one trusted any part of his government. Not one part of his government was trusted. This guy, he'll never cease to disgust me. He should be up on charges. Legit should be up on charges. All right, stick around. Your calls and a lot more next. Plenty more of the Anthony Cumia Show coming up in moments.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show on another wonderful Sunday evening. Thank you for spending it with me. I was scrolling through social media during the break, and I can only assume that the on X, the Elmo account has been hacked. Holy jeez. There's just something about, like, somebody can post something terrible under whatever account it is, and you read it and go like, ooh, that's rough, or, wow, that guy's got some issues. Or when you post some heinous stuff under Elmo's account, it just becomes funny. Maybe it's the comic in me. Maybe it's the shock jock in me that never went away. But it was Elmo's real account. Let's just say Elmo not very happy with the children of Israel, Netanyahu or Trump. Seems to have a problem. I would love to read it to you right here on this very program, but ain't no way I would get through the first three words without being excommunicated from the earth. But suffice to say, Elmo not happy with Israel, the people of Israel, Trump or Netanyahu. I think they've fixed it. They've deleted some of those posts, but like everything else on the internet, it lives forever, doesn't it? Elmo, you little anti-Semite, you. This is the first anniversary of the Trump assassination attempt right there in Butler, Pennsylvania. We all remember a year ago to the day that Donald Trump, campaigning for president of these United States, was up there in front of a festival crowd, and someone took a shot at him. It's supposedly this kid. What the hell was his name? Oh, yeah, Thomas Matthew Crooks. He was from Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. He was readily dispatched from his rooftop perch by snipers that were on scene, yet didn't see him until after he rattled off a few shots, injuring Trump lightly in the ear and killing somebody, injuring another person. But he killed an attendee. Very tragic in that respect. And then he was dispatched, and that was a year ago. And the answers to many questions still go unanswered out there in the ether, into the cosmos. They've had a Senate committee report. It was released this Sunday. Yeah. And it blames the U.S. Secret Service for a cascade of preventable failures that led up to the assassination attempt against then presidential candidate Donald Trump during a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. In the report, the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee said the Secret Service lack of structural communication was likely the greatest contributor to the failure on the day of the rally. Lack of structural communication. This is something any agency does when there is what we call a cluster F. You know that? FUBAR. When something goes FUBAR, if you're really old, or a cluster F, like we've called it for many years. And they go through the motions. They have a committee gets together and investigates it. And then they come out with something like lack of structured communication. How about a lack of common sense? A lack of ability to do your job as law enforcement. And I don't care if you were Secret Service that day or you were a dog catcher watching the show, and any element of law enforcement in between. A kid was walking around with a rangefinder that they saw. This wasn't even something he was able to hide. While he was walking in to the area, he had a rangefinder on him. He then got to the roof of a building, well within range of the president. This wasn't like one of these magical sniper shots you read about, a mile, 2 miles away. This was a very close range shot for a scoped weapon. He gets up there. People are yelling that there's someone with a gun up on the building. And nothing was done about it. This isn't about the communication. This is that no one in law enforcement did what they needed to do before the attempt and during the attempt. Nothing. That's what it was. Incompetence. Don't talk about communication. Communication. This was so preventable, and they're just going to let these people skate. From what I heard, the Secret Service agents, there were, how many of them? See if I could find it real quickly. there were 8 of them, I think, 8 Secret Service agents or so that were suspended. And they've been since been reinstated. And they've made 21 of 46 recommendations, including streamlining the communication procedures. The communication thing, they're making like a big thing, like we didn't, what you don't, you had a pigeon? Was it a pigeon with a note on its foot and the headwind was a little too strong? What could possibly have gone wrong with communications? I'll tell you. You didn't have communications, which is part of the incompetence part. That's part of what makes up the incompetence. We've seen many, many instances where Secret Service, other law enforcement, security, just security for Taylor Swift. They have their earpiece in, they got a mic on their wrist, whatever it is, and they're communicating with each other. The only lack of communication was beforehand when someone might have said, let's dole out the walkie-talkies and make sure we're all on the same frequency. How about that? It wasn't, we didn't have, this was a different time a year ago. We didn't have wireless communications. So this is just another case of incompetence covered by pure BS. Communication gaps, both within the Secret Service hierarchy and also among the agency. The Secret Service security room agent, who is responsible for collecting and disseminating information, learned about a suspicious person with a rangefinder from a counterpart in the Pennsylvania State Police roughly 25 minutes before the shooting. Before the shooting. The agent relayed the report to a fellow Secret Service agent in the room, but that information didn't go out over the radio or make it to Trump's security detail in time for them to prevent him from taking the stage. So what is that? That has nothing to do with communication per se. It's your incompetence in not communicating to other people. You can't blame it on a communication lapse. You blame it on someone who failed to communicate the issue to other people. Oh, my God. There were organizational mistakes, too. The committee noted that one of the Secret Service counter-snipers team protecting Trump at the Butler rally had an obstructed view of the roof of the nearby American Glass Research Building where Crooks was located. So you set up counter-snipers in a place where you don't have a view of everything you need, every elevated position around the area. This is all incompetence. The report, released 1 year to the day after the shooting, also found the Secret Service had denied some resources to Trump's detail. No requests were denied for the Butler rally, says Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle. She falsely testified that no requests were denied. So she commits perjury, almost loses a president on her watch. And what happens? She's probably in the private sector right now, working some gig. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. There's no accountability. You know, in Japan, they used to stab themselves when people screwed up this bad. Yeah, swear. What else do they got? The agency last week. Secret Service also said it had disciplined, six employees in relation to the Butler shooting with suspicions ranging from 10 to 42 days without pay. 10 to 42 days without pay. Still, the committee said in its report that not a single person has been fired. Not one person on the Secret Service detail, Trump's detail, actual detail, the Secret Service that was there logistically, the various police department agencies including the state, Pennsylvania state troopers, the county police, the local sheriffs, and that dog catcher. Not a one has been fired. That's unbelievable. Curran, who's that? One of the agents who surrounded Trump as shots were fired in Butler added in his statement that the Secret Service will continue to work and cooperate with the committee as we move forward in our mission. What did you do? You screwed the pooch, as they used to say. I think that's what they used to say in NASA when something went wrong. Someone screwed the pooch. And boy, there's the only better example would have been if Trump, his head exploded like a watermelon in slow motion 4K on CNN, because for some reason CNN decided to cover that rally and have cameras running during that rally. Suspect? I don't know. What do I know? I'm a former shock jock. The Anthony Cumia Show continues in moments. Stay right there.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It indeed is the Anthony Cumia Show. Welcome. We're clearing the phone lines to get callers with new topics, anything else you want to talk about. 800-848-9222. Ponderous. And, every week we feature a segment, another segment, not just Clown of the Week, mind you, but we also have to delve into what is true, which is very rarely seen these days, and what is fake news.
Now.
Fake news, folks. Fake news.
It's the fake news.
Fake stories.
News moment.
Fake stories. It's really getting difficult, honestly, to find just blatant lies on the news these days, because they're trying so hard to not chase everyone away. Oh, you'll find them, believe me. But what I think the fake news is that you see all the time is they send the news cameras out and let the politicians speak, and then you get all the fake news you need. This week, of course, Ilhan Omar up there in Minnesota. She's in Minnesota, right? Yeah, I almost said Montana. Minnesota. She's talking about something that just annoyed the hell out of the liberal Democrats and the brother marrying people. The big, beautiful bill. Of course, it passed. They're all annoyed by it. And all they can do now is get up behind a podium in front of a crowd of supporters and cry about it. We can do cry about it. So here's Ilhan doing some fake news, lying her turban off about the big, beautiful bill concerning the budget and how it's hurting Americans.
I wish we were here under different circumstances, but today we are here to speak truth about the GOP's budget bill that will devastate the very people that we fight for.
Devastate.
The bill Republicans passed is the most harmful, immoral budget we have seen in modern American history.
From her?
It is a direct assault on working families in Minnesota and across this country.
How?
Let me tell you what this bill does. It slashes Medicaid, kicking 17 million Americans off their health care plans, thousands whom are in this district. This bill rips $186 billion from SNAP. That's food off the tables of our seniors, of children, and single mothers.
Lies!
People who are already struggling to get by. Here in the 5th District, that's nearly 90,000 people who rely on SNAP. I've spoken to them, and many of them are asking, how do I feed my kids and still pay my bills? This is the United States of America.
Yeah.
No one should ever have to make that choice. And while families are being told to tighten their belts, Billionaires are getting a windfall. Permanent tax cuts for the rich and temporary scraps for everyone.
You could ace her right here. I mean, she's said enough where we can comment on what nonsense and bull this is. I want to talk to one person who's had their Medicaid cut or their Social Security or veterans benefits or all the other things that are supposed to, and you notice the words they were torn away, ripped away. Their benefits were ripped out of there. Oh, they can't take it. And they never even consider the fact that a lot of these benefits over the course of decades now might be going to people that aren't really qualified or worthy to get these benefits. And they always bring up the most pathetic scenario. The old person, the elderly woman who's starving in her little tenement, her one-room apartment, barely scraping by. And show me that. Show me that one. Because I'll tell you what it is, because I see a lot of it. It's huge, obese people with more kids than they should have, using our taxpayer money to buy some of the worst food, if it could even be called that, possible, to get their hair done, nails, get a phone, get some shoes, go on a carnival cruise, whatever else is going on. That's called waste. And that is one thing Donald Trump and his administration has said they will address. If there are people that are on these programs that don't belong on them, if you're capable of working, you will work. That's it. No more free rides. But that's all their constituents. That's Ilhan Omar's bread and butter, as they say. And she knows it. She does it. It's the old, you want to get that old lady or that old poor old man or the veteran that's now starving. Is that who you're trying to get to the voting booth? Or the big fat woman with boat rope, braided boat rope sewn in her head, with 3-inch long talons painted different colors. Maybe that's who you want to get to the voting booth, to keep her on SNAP and Medicaid and whatever other programs so she doesn't have to get up off her fat ass and go to work. Oh, my God. But the Democrats, like Ilhan, that's what they do. Lying. That is your fake news. She will just lie about everything when it comes to these budget cuts. When they cut budgets, the Democrats, what are they cutting? What are they possible? I don't think they do. I think they just keep piling more and more of the working Americans' tax-paying money into these programs and dole it out for votes. Make the idiots vote for them by thinking they're getting something, which they are. Everything but dignity. You know, here's some money in exchange for your dignity. Sit down, watch TV, have your little crumb stealers and rugrats running around your Section 8 apartment, and then vote for me when the time comes around, and you'll get another couple of years or 4 years of that. No one wants to really look and go, we need to cut spending. And then they get all mad. Oh, what, tax cuts for the billionaire? Where are they? I want to see the numbers as far as tax cuts go. Mwahaha. Is that what they do beforehand? Like the evil guy in the old cartoons tying the girl to the train tracks? Mwahaha. We're gonna lower taxes for the rich and make the old lady starve. Like, I don't think that's really happening. But that is how they present it, man. That is absolutely how it's presented to the American people by the likes of Ilhan Omar, brother wife, I think they call it. My God. All right. Well, we'll be back in a matter of seconds, so don't go anywhere. More of your calls and more of the Anthony Cumia Show in moments.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Yes. Former shock jock, Cumia, Anthony Cumia. Boy, we haven't heard from the sexy, feisty ladies of the Anthony Cumia Show tonight. So let's go to Susan from upstate New York. Susan, how have you been?
Oh, my dear. Well, listen, I missed you last week, but glad to hear you tonight. And you did give a very comprehensive situation about the Epstein debacle.
Yes, debacle.
It's, you know what? But you did end up saying that you don't know one way or the other, and you can't be sure of anything about that,
right,
which is very true. The one thing that I agree with you, it's a lot about perception because, we expected all this transparency, and they maybe did over promise and under produce on this particular item. But I think that as far as what, I know myself and and I listened to a lot of railis and Trump, his positions on things.
Yes.
The top three things, in my book, were the weaponization of the federal.
The Justice Department, that was crazy.
Justice Department, FBI, how the Justice Department had made domestic terrorists out of parents and sent the FBI to take license plate numbers at school board meetings when they went to complain about, so that sort of thing. I mean, that is shocking to me. And then do you remember when they also were going to make people that went on Truth Social and liked President Trump's post, or if he liked their post, that they would be considered domestic terrorists.
Yeah, we heard a lot of this stuff, Susan, over the course of the Biden administration, but we also hear a lot of this during the Trump administration. We have these insane things that we know obviously aren't going to really happen. There's a lot of propaganda out there on both parts, but the thing with the Epstein thing, and like I'm saying, I know you're a Trump supporter. I am too. I try to make that really known to people so they don't think I'm just going whichever way the tide goes. I understand that. But the big but here, Susan, is that I don't like how they went about this. It seemed deceptive based on, like you said, they might have overpromised and
under-delivered.
Yeah. So I'm just like, well, I don't like that. I can say I don't like that without Trump supporters going, oh, what are you now? Will you vote for Kamala? I was like, no, you don't get it. I'm just saying I'm not happy with this. But I also don't know positively one way or the other what really happened, as does no one else. I don't care who you are. You could gripe and bitch and complain to me that it's this, or this. You don't know as much as I don't know. So our opinions are just that, opinions, Susan.
Yes, but I also feel one other thing is that they probably that much of the evidence was probably disposed of, that they thought that they had, or they did think they had at one time. And I do also believe that since they had all this information, if Trump was really had anything dirty on him, they would have been the first ones to be leaking it like crazy. So
there you go.
We need to put that on the side a little bit and talk about, like what Trump had. instead of like looking at it as like, one pimple when, the rest of everything is gorgeous.
Well, Susan,
because he's done great things.
You bring up a great point. I've heard that from many people about if they had something on Trump, why didn't they use it? Did you ever hear that saying, you can kill a sheep once, but you could fleece him 1,000 times? There's a school of thought out there that if they do have something on Trump and he gets into the president's, to the White House, now we can use that against him many times instead of just getting rid of him by using it one time. Again, I don't know. This is all up in the air. No proof whatsoever about what I'm saying. But if you're going to bring up that point that why didn't they use it against him, there are plenty of arguments against using it against him if they did even have that info anyway.
Let's stop chasing our tails here, because what we need to do is grow this economy so we can prevent becoming another Venezuela.
I like that idea. Something that matters.
That's what Trump is focused on.
I know.
And the tariffs, they said, how the tariffs were going to be so bad that we do with China. And, they just wanted to build
billions
up this
coming
negativity.
in. Billions are coming in because of the tariffs. It's wonderful, Susan. Think you, dear. Have a great time in upstate New York, and I look forward to your next call, maybe next week. I mean, every single thing anyone says is conjecture. It's opinions based on things that you've read that aren't fact. So, look, some people could sound a lot more convincing than others. Some people have done more research than other people. But if all you have to go on, the only information you can cull from is incomplete, then you're never, ever going to be able to tell somebody, no, it's like this. I don't agree with what you say. I think it's this. That's all fun and games. We could have lively debates with each other. But who's going to come and tell you the absolute truth on a lot of these things that are happening today? Nobody. And that's frustrating as hell. Believe me. I know it is frustrating. Let's talk to same thing. Talking about that, Chris. Hey, my buddy Chris there. What's up, Chris?
Hey, man. How you doing?
Very nice. What's the scoop?
You're talking a lot of great things, great truths that I believe. And, when Trump was going in, this was an election about putting faith back into government. At least that's what I believed.
That was it. Right. Big part of it.
Because he was not a politician. He's coming from the outside. This was going to be the moment. This was going to be the guy who can get in there, break it all up, just like you said. This is what we all believed. Mm-hmm. And now you hear the smatterings of, geez, is he compromised? Yeah. Did the swamp kind of swallow him up, and now he's kind of pulling back on all the things that he had said?
Right.
He's still done a lot more than any other president ever. I don't want to act like
hell
the guy has not done a thing.
I've been trying to put that across, Chris. Like, I'm not saying like many people, many people that can make a lot of noise. I don't think it's the actual majority of Trump supporters, but people that are like, screw that, screw him. I'm sorry I ever voted for him. I would never say that, especially based on the choice we had and what we're seeing happen now. I like what I'm seeing as far as the economy goes and energy independence again, perhaps.
100%.
I love it, but I won't just be quiet if I do see things that are a little distressing.
And I completely agree. And, these are the things that people can't talk about publicly because they'll get vilified. They're going against the government, whatever. There's something that is coming back now. And I don't know how to actually put this right.
Herpes?
I believe it's coming up to the 25th anniversary of the TWA Flight 800 disaster off the coast of Long Island.
Yep.
And that was the point, at least in my life, when I said, okay, the government is lying to us right to our face. Because we all know what happened with that plane. I will go into it, but we know the truth. It was right in front of our face. And the government conspiracy and lying to us, you know, they know that we can't do anything about it. So it's almost like they know how stupid we are that we have to believe everything they say.
Interesting event you chose for that, because everybody, I think, depending on who you talk to, maybe how old they are or how much they were into current events and the government, what event actually got them to go, all right, I was a total believer in our government. I believed everything they said. And now, because of this, that was what turned me. Is Flight 800 the thing that kind of made you go, uh-oh, I think we're not in a great place here with the U.S. government and their honesty?
100%, because, look, the average person doesn't have the time nor the will to sit and do all the research that's necessary to go against what the government puts out there to see if you believe it or not.
Right.
You know, who's going to sit there and read hours and hours of material and NTSB reports and all of this kind of stuff? You're not going to do it. So the easy thing to do is believe the news, believe that fake media, because it's just easy. But if you sit and you actually take the time and read and do the proper research and come up with your own opinion based off of the facts that are out there, then you can start to question these things. And in this particular instance, the Flight 800 disaster, look, that plane was hit by a missile. They were doing military exercises off the coast of Long Island, which they still do, because if I go right now down to the South Shore, I see drones flying up in the air that they're always there every night. That's where they do these military exercises. And it's a shame that all these people, 234 plus people, perished and lost their lives, and the government blatantly lied to us. And they'll never come out with the truth. Now, I was hoping that Trump would be the person, and I'm not just talking about this event in itself, but would be the person to break that mold and put our faith back in government to say, you know what, maybe they are working for John Q. Public. Maybe they are telling the truth. But, you know,
that ain't going to happen, unfortunately. But I love it. I agree with you on that one, Chris. I mean, you know, the official story, a 747 sitting on a hot tarmac for hours on end, and then a short circuit and a fuel
in the center fuel tank,
and it's something that had never happened before or since. A lot of times when you watch shows or read transcripts from the NTSB, the biggest thing, and the reason they do it, is to prevent a future accident from happening the same way. And over the course of the years, through using that process, they've made air travel very safe. But there wasn't one thing in there that was definitive and said, yes, this is these are the moves we're going to make to make sure this doesn't happen again. It just they didn't have it, and the missile aspect, I don't know. It's Look, not out of the realm of possibility there.
There are so many things about it, and I'm not going to get into the whole conspiracy, but all the things that disappeared and everything. But I mean, what this was, simply put, this was the government coming up to every single person who's listening to the show right now and slapping you across the face, and then you just standing there and saying, "Oh, okay."
That's how I feel. It's like I said, it's the perception more than the actual subject matter. The Epstein thing, I don't give a whatever. But I feel like I'm on Discord playing video games with this guy. I don't give a but it's the perception that we were deceived by the guy we voted for that said he was going to be open, honest, and truthful about everything.
Exactly.
And that's more important. Chris, I got to move on, but thanks for the call. Take it easy, bro. Yeah. I mean, you know. But it's interesting bringing up, like, what put you over the edge? What was that thing that happened, whether it was years ago, the Gulf of Tonkin, Vietnam? I remember I was a frogman, and they told me I had to go to country. I had to go to Vietnam. I said, why? They said the Vietnamese blew up one of our ships in the Gulf of Tonkin. So I got on my frogman suit, my feather boa, like in WWF, and I went to the Nam, and I wiped out a lot of boops. All right. Yeah. Nothing makes me laugh more than listening to Jesse talk about his war stories. It's like, didn't you wear a feather boa? Didn't you wear a feather boa? I don't have time to bleed. He was great in Predator. I'll be honest there. Don't get me started with that. What do we got? 45, 49. I think I could do this in time. Governor Hochul, she's going to read a sad letter from people that are losing Medicaid. Again, this is another Medicaid thing. It's wasteful Medicaid spending. Trump isn't taking Medicaid away from the people that really need it. Ain't happening. But let's listen to New York's Governor Hochul reading sad letters she got from people. These letters are they're figments of her imagination. Let's listen to Governor Hochul.
Last week, New York's 7 Republican members of Congress voted for Donald Trump's big, ugly bill. With their votes, they callously and without a second thought ripped health insurance away from nearly 1.5 million New Yorkers. I think they should listen to the stories of the very constituents that they turned their back on.
Oh. She's going to read some stories now.
My daughter has type 1 diabetes. Her affordable essential plan coverage has literally been a lifesaver with the high cost of diabetes care, including insulin, without which she would die.
Yeah.
I have chronic physical and mental ailments that have prevented me from working my entire adult life. If we were to lose our health insurance, we'd be forced to go uninsured, which would be a death sentence for me.
Oh.
I'm a domestic violence survivor. Once I finally left him, I no longer had health insurance. If it weren't for Medicaid, I'd have none at all. I've been very clear. No state can fully undo the damage of this bill or backfill cuts of this scale. But I'm working with the legislature to brace for the impact and protect as many New Yorkers as possible, because your family is my fight. And I'll never turn my back on you or the values we share.
Values. Liar. Notice something I noticed there? Well, those letters were being read. None of them lost anything. They're talking about if I lose my Medicare. Oh, if I didn't have this, it would be tragic. My poor daughter would be this if I did. No one's losing this that needs it. I want to hear a follow-up on the daughter with type 1 diabetes that it needs this medication. I want to hear a follow-up and see if the big, beautiful bill has any negative reaction there to her needing Medicaid. They just keep bringing out these lies and nonsense. Illegal aliens do not belong in these programs. So when you talk about tens of thousands of people that are going to be thrown off of of Medicare and other programs, those are the people you're talking about. When you see Americans now, for the most part, I would believe the statistically 100%, you're talking about people that are on these programs that don't qualify for them. They're stealing. They are stealing from the people that are working and paying for these things. But she reads her little letters, and none of them are even, we lost our coverage. My daughter is convulsing every night, and none of it. Here's my daughter. She has this, and if we lose, the if. It just shows you what a lying sack this Hochul is in New York. And you had the chance, New York. You had the chance to elect Lee Zeldin as your governor, and you elected this idiot. What are you going to do now, New York? You have the chance to elect Curtis Sliwa, and you're going to put a communist Muslim in Gracie Mansion in New York City. You're dopes. I thank God I only have to visit your wretched city once a month, New York. Back in a flash with more of the always smiling Anthony Cumia.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. Obviously, we love taking your calls. 800-848-9222. And let's go to Bobby D. Bobby D there in Rochester, New York. What's up, Bobby?
Oh, what's up? I didn't expect to get through.
Of course not. It's magic. Magic talking to me. I understand.
No, I mean, I can't follow up on the last call, but I just want to talk about the good old days. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Let's do it. Thank you, my friend.
Yeah, I still listen to you guys every day, mainly the Nopi episodes. Those are my favorite.
Back in the old shock jock days, yeah. But thank you. I appreciate it. What have you got for this very program, Bobby?
Oh, I mean, nothing too political since you're at the end of the show. I figured we'd ease off into, some good old chat.
You just want to chit-chat with me. You want to sit down, crack a brew, and go, remember? Do you remember? Yeah.
Sit in that big theater of yours.
Oh, well, that was great, right? What else was great in the old days, Bobby? Give me something good from the old days.
Oh, I was just listening to you had a bunch of the girls on, and you were asking Big A about the last time he was intimate.
Yeah.
I still don't believe him. I don't know about you, but
Bobby, I remember. Thank you for the memories, but I have to. Thank you for calling. Thank you for the memories. But I just can't say. I would love to sit there and wax fantastic about the oldie days with Bobby, but we got to move on. We really just have to move on. Steve from the Manhattan, the Isle of Idiots. What's up, Steve?
And I dare anybody to go around the dial, go to the satellite, and try to find something better than this. You're not going to find it. You're going to come right back. I'm
applauding you right now, my friend, for that. Thank you, Steve.
You're the man, Anthony. And I'll give 3 quick points, but then I'll go to the meat and potatoes. In Ireland, Rosie O'Donnell is used as a human raft to bring in invaders. Yes, Ireland is being invaded. Big time, folks. Now, New York City pools, Mayor David Dinkins, it was called whirlpooling. This was a situation in a city pool where 6 or 7 boys would surround a girl, start splashing the water, and then all of a sudden they'd rip her bathing suit off.
Like Orca with a seal.
Right, exactly. And Dinkins' response was he was giving out buttons, "Don't dish your sis." But that was the time when that was the time in the neighborhood when the neighborhoods were being surrendered in New York City.
I forgot. Don't diss your sis. I totally forgot about that one. That's what's gonna do it. It's like when Gerald Ford had the whip inflation now buttons, the win buttons. It's like, yeah, that's gonna do it. A button, you dimwit.
Right, and we have built-in inflation with SNAP and free food for people. All right, last year in Pennsylvania, my response to that was Trump needed more competent Secret Service people with him, but he also had to bring in his longtime personal security team, and there was only one incident through the years with Trump's personal security team. One of the guys was snacking on Marlon Maples. Now, I just want to get to the meat and potatoes now. If you remember that. I want to just get to the meat and potatoes now. Last year in New York City, Trump got in New York City 840,000 votes. Okay, we know there are swing voters. We know there are clowns who only come out under a rock every 4 years and vote. Yeah. And there are people we don't know where they come from. But he got Curtis Lee has to shoot for that number. He has to go for that number. And listen, this guy, this moron that you correctly called him, I call him Mamby Bambi. When he was banging on the podium and telling McGruff Crime Dog to get his name right, he was just like Khrushchev there. That is a perfect commercial. I know it would play better in Middle America than in brain dead New York City.
Khrushchev banging his shoe on the desk back in the UN in the old days. Yeah.
Right, we were going to bury you from within. Right. And the bottom line here is, folks, this moron media. I said years ago, here we go, Wayne. This is a lead-in for you. So on the Bob Grant show, I said to tune them out. I said, stop buying their stupid papers and listen to their dumb shows. You're supposed to do Bob Grant, man.
No, I'm laughing because I think I remember the call. That's hilarious. Yeah, stop buying that. How did Bob? What did Bob say?
Well, Bob one time called me an assassin caller. I took it as a compliment. But the thing is, the attorney general was told by Trump not to release those files. Listen, look at the Detroit mayor that he pardoned. You see the crimes that guy committed? He was acting like he owned the city of Detroit, and he sprung him out of jail. He doesn't want to hurt anybody. That's why they didn't have any big raids in New York City. They could have had a field day with the Roosevelt Hotel and all those big tents.
Absolutely. Yeah, why didn't we see ICE go into Manhattan proper with the Roosevelt Hotel and just take that place down? Every room would have been a bounty of illegals.
Because they were working for all the business, the restaurants and all the hotels there.
Unbelievable.
And
You're shutting down New York City. You're shutting down New York City's hotels, restaurants. You're right. Absolutely.
And let me can I just leave with my signature signed off? People haven't heard in a long time.
You got carte blanche. You're a good caller, my friend.
Go Buchanan, go, baby.
Yes. Go Buchanan, go. I've heard about you. Don't worry. I like you. Steve. Thank you, my friend, Steve. Yeah, he's hilarious. Hey, I'll give him one thing. He's concise. He's got his topics, his subjects. He pops them right out there, and nothing wrong with that. I like him. Good caller. I like that guy. We'll be back in moments. Top of the last hour of the Anthony Cumia Show.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Yes, hour 3 of the Anthony Cumia Show. We appreciate you tuning in, as we do every Sunday. Thank you. Boy, almost by an edge, missing out on Clown of the Week this week was Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Oh, she just got away from being Clown of the Week because I looked and went, what gorgeous hair. What yeah, have you? Oh, boy. That mop on her head. Like, just go with it. I think she's trying to use some kind of product to make it look more lustrous and, womanly. But it just looks terrible. Looks like Sammy Hagar's hair now. Like, Sammy used to have a pretty good head of hair back in the old Montrose days, and even Three-Lock Box, maybe even early Van Halen. But Debbie Wasserman Schultz hair, look at Sammy when he plays Cabo now. She has Sammy Hagar hair. She's got Sammy Hagar hair. Anyway, Debbie Wasserman Schultz says she took a tour. She took a tour of Alligator Alcatraz. We all would love to take that tour, wouldn't we? I want to see the alligators. I want to see the pythons. I want to see the accommodations. Talk to the COs that are walking around. But we don't get that luxury. It goes to people like Debbie Wasserman Schultz. And she went in, she looked around, and what do you think? Do you think she said something to the effect of, well, it looks humane. I mean, these are prisoners. They have committed a crime, and they are being incarcerated until we can deport them. So this seems like an efficient, effective venue to hold them until such a day we can rid ourselves of their occupation of our country. Well, It was a little different than that. We have a clip here. Actually, we have two. The first one, just Debbie talking about what she saw when she walked around the cell block of Alligator Alcatraz. Debbie, if you will.
What we saw, the conditions that we saw inside this internment camp, which it is nothing less than that description, were really appalling. I'll walk you through just a few of the really egregious, disturbing, disgusting conditions. They are using cages. These detainees are living in cages. The pictures that you've seen don't do it justice. They are essentially packed into cages, wall-to-wall humans, 32 detainees per cage. That is the only thing inside those cages are their bunk beds, and there are 3 tiny toilets that are toilet units that have a sink attached to it.
Yeah. That sure sounds like a prison. That sure sounds like a prison to me. Now, maybe she's basing her assessment of Alligator Alcatraz off of their previous places of residence. Maybe their previous accommodations, and she's weighing the two. A $500 a night Manhattan hotel room compared to an average prison cell. Yep. I'll go for the $500 a night Manhattan hotel room. Yeah. But Debbie Wasserman Schultz, if I may call you Debbie Wasserman Schultz, they're prisoners. They're not in town to take the Circle Line or go up into the Statue of Liberty or the Empire State Building. So they're not supposed to be in luxury hotel rooms in Midtown Manhattan. They're supposed to be in prison. So when you say they're literally in cages, well, that's what a prison is. A cage. I'll give you that. You picked up on that pretty quickly. But to think that they deserve better, first of all, it's brandy new. There are plenty of prisons in this country that date back to, I think, the 1800s. And these are brand new. The floors, I saw pictures. The floors, brand new tile. They've subdivided, is what she's talking about. She says they're in cages, 32 of them. And it's not just and then she tries to make it, she can't leave out the part that there are actually beds in there. So she wants to make it sound worse. So she goes, they're wall-to-wall human, just mad people. And there's 37 of them, 36 of them to a cage. And the only other thing in there is their bunk beds. Yeah, they have bunk beds. Don't make it sound like the only other thing is a blanket on the floor that all of them fight over. For their bunk beds for every single one of them. So it's not their wall-to-wall people in cages. They're people in cages with enough bunk beds for every single person in that chain link fence subdivided area. If you're running a jail or a prison, you don't want too many people to be able to get together in one spot. If someone decides to act up or a group of people decide to act up, you want to be able to lock down the rest of the people. So that's why you don't just have them running around in this large area. You subdivide it with bars or concrete or chain link fence, as you like to call it, cages. Sorry, foam rubber would be lovely. but it's not very effective in preventing people from breaking through it. Chain link fence actually gives them the ability to communicate with other people in that block building. So it's kind of better than it could be. But she wants to call it, a cage. It's a cage. And again, these are criminals. They're waiting for deportation, and they're not being put in hotel rooms. That's one part of it. This one was my favorite, though. She goes on to talk about the horrible sanitary conditions when you have to defecate. You're used to going into a great place, a hotel room bathroom, and what do you get? 3 tiny toilets, as she calls them. Do we have that one? That clip?
So they drink. They get their drinking water and they brush their teeth, where they poop in the same unit. They bragged that they went above standards, supposedly, and gave them a 3-foot privacy wall that stretches the length inside the 32 detainee cage. A 3-foot privacy wall that stretches the length of the 3 toilets.
Yeah. Let me tell you something, Debbie Wasserman Schultz. You know who else gets water and brushes their teeth and poops in the same room? Everyone! It's called a bathroom, you dolt. It's a bathroom. At night, when I get up out of my cage, if I'm sleeping in bed in my cage, I get up sometimes, I go into the bathroom, and the toilet's there, my toothbrush is there, and I grab a little drink of water. Do you know, before I even go into my bed in my cage, that I brush my teeth mere feet away from my toilet? Is that crazy? And then I rinse my mouth out with water that I drink right near where, as Debbie Wasserman Schultz says, I poop. Can you imagine? This is, I got to say it, it's a concentration camp. That's what I'm going to go on record. Some people might get mad, but I don't see any difference between a bathroom in any suburban house, anywhere people live. I don't see any difference between that and a cage with tiny toilets, a toothbrush, and a cup in the same general area. This woman is out of her damn mind. They're trying so hard to make this some type of atrocity, some type of horrible place. I guarantee they're getting more food in their mouths than homeless veterans on the streets of New York. I guarantee the sanitary conditions are much better than they were in their home country, in the best place they ever lived in their home country. Doesn't mean come here, mind you. Go back, make it better for yourself. Damn it. We don't have the time or money. But to talk about a bathroom where you drink water, brush your teeth, and poo, as she said, in the same room, yeah, that's everyone, you blithering fool. Back in seconds. More Anthony Cumia Show in moments.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. God, that Debbie Wasserman it's astounding to me. Astounding. You listen to these people speak and talk about things like that. Remember AOC when she was at one of the border jails, whatever it was supposed to be, and she was crying She staged it, obviously, but she put her head in her hands and she's by the fence and she's bent over crying. And there was no one out, and it was a fence. She was crying at a galvanized chain link fence, and we were all supposed to believe that we just weren't privy to see the view she was looking at. All these young little children running around, parentless, crying for mama and papa, or what have you. But that's what they do. That's how this works. They just lie. It's amazing to me. Let's talk to Tony in Clifton, New Jersey. Hi, Tony.
Hi there. Hi, good evening. So, the Roosevelt Hotel was just a beautiful hotel, and it was slated to be or scheduled to be a landmark, but that never happened. So Debbie Wasserman Schultz, if I said that right, really just is outraged that our illegals are no longer able to tear up that hotel, whatever left of it. Because remember, there was this clip of a worker, and I think it was for the Roosevelt, I could be wrong, where he said, they're tearing up the place. It's very hard for me to work here. Throwing food around, etc. It was awful. And this is where they put our illegals. And you know why, Anthony? Because people like Debbie Wasserman Schultz have no respect for New York City, for our culture, for the whole ambiance of the city that was built. I think that was built early 1900s.
Oh yeah,
And there was a whole area like that was just gorgeous. And what they want to make at New York City to be like is to be like, the places where these illegals came from. But the problem is, Anthony, that we think they need to go back there, because if they have a problem with the jails here, I love the photos of the jails where Kristi Noem was at, where they were just all, locked up tight.
Yeah. How about that?
How about we try that on them?
You ever watch that show Locked Up Abroad? And it's usually it starts really cool. The beginning of that show Locked Up Abroad should be called "Smuggling Drugs is Awesome," because the beginning of it, they're smuggling drugs and they're getting away with it. They show them partying and recreations with attractive actors and whatnot. But they're doing blow and smoking weed, and then the guy's like, "All right, one more run and pick up this coke and bring it back." And they're like, "Okay." Bong. And then it turns into, I'm in a foreign prison overseas in some really bad country. And the worst prison in America has to be the greatest prison in the world when you look at other countries, because they do put them in cages. There aren't sanitary conditions for them. And to hear the likes of Debbie Wasserman Schultz describing this holding facility, it's not even meant that there's to spend any length of time there. It's a holding facility. Are they feeding you? Are they giving you a bed that just you use? Do you have facilities to use to eat, drink, brush your teeth, and use the bathroom? Yes, to all of those. Yes. So what the hell is her issue? Disgusting.
You know what, Anthony? Anthony? You know what I was thinking about when Curtis Lewa, and I'm going to tell you this. This is something I haven't shared with anybody.
Ooh.
When Curtis Lewa stands up next to Zoran Mamdani, he needs to quiz him on the history of the United States of America, because how much you want to bet that guy can't tell you one president's name?
I think you're right.
I think he ought to get ready for that, because what I'm amazed at is that not one of the candidates, and I love Curtis, but not one of them got into what our country is all about and tested him. I want to see somebody that reminds me of who was the woman that's now in our CIA when she went after Kamala Harris. She went after Kamala Harris when they were debating for the presidency. Remember that one? Who's the CIA director? Who's the intelligence?
I couldn't tell you the name.
Our
terrible names there.
Person now is she was one of the She's one of the people who
Tulsi Gabbard
shredded Kamala Harris to pieces when they were running for president. This is what I want Curtis to do. I want him to shred him up alive just to show how much he doesn't know about the United States of America.
Tony,
thank you for listening.
Thank you, Tony, for calling. I appreciate it. Tony with an I, by the way.
Hey, Tony. Jesus Christ.
It's, there's unfortunately too much politics in politics. Curtis would. Debating, that he'd do a great job. They just don't let him really get into the forefront and into the fray with a lot of these people. I think Tony's absolutely right. I don't think Mamdani could tell you anything about American history aside from the nonsense they're teaching in the indoctrination centers that they call colleges these days. They don't know what's going on. And more importantly than just the history is at least something you can learn. You read it, you put it in your head, you learn it. They don't know or understand our institutions, what makes us Americans, what we hold dear as Americans, that is different from European nations. And it's so strictly American, and it's important to us. And look, we all have our foibles and we all stray, but there are certain things that we always held near and dear to us as Americans. And I recall this growing up. It was a big part of it. And that's just gone. No one can. It's made fun of now. It's looked at as racist now, or sexist, or some type of xenophobic, if I want to cover everything. You can't speak about traditions, American traditions. The idea that you would want to go to a backyard barbecue or a block party on your block back in the day because they were all people, neighbors that you had stuff in common with. And not just like, oh, we all work at the mill, or, we believe in this. There was a commonality in just being an American. It went unspoken. You knew the basic right from wrongs and things that as a family you wanted to instill in your kids or your other relatives. It was just a known thing, and that was called being an American. And when you see people, like Ilhan Omar, and they come in and they get this little launching pad, political launching pad, where they get a constituency that supports them for the monsters they are, that's a foothold. In military language, when you're trying to take over something, it's called a foothold. And she got that because she was placed there by people that want to destroy America and ruin our institutions. And it builds from there. And she gets a following. And people that agree with her nonsense, they move there and they have other people. And before you know it, you have a beachhead. You've taken over a place and you want to expand. And if you don't think that's happening, you're a lot more naive than I would hope after listening to this show for a few weeks. Maybe you're new. But that's kind of the way it is. And when traditions are laughed at and mocked, and to the point where people are embarrassed to exercise these traditions and live by them, that's bad. That's an invasion that, it's more, I think it's more effective than gunfire sometimes because it's so subtle and you don't see it coming, You could see people running at you with a rifle. We'll be back again with your calls and more of me, Anthony Cumia.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. Back to the phones with Mike in Washington. What's up, Mike?
Hey, Anthony. How you doing, man?
Hey, pretty good for a Sunday. You know.
Yeah. Hey, man. So a little while ago, you were talking about your advice to aspiring gun owners is always to educate yourself first.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't grow up with guns or anyone to show me how to use them, and a lot of your coverage of social misbehaviors.
There are
has me
people
looking
that
to buy a gun.
Yeah, there are people that haven't really gotten an education on guns before they slap one in their hand. I think I know what you're saying, Mike.
Yeah. So how can what specifically can I do to get educated? I mean, I don't want to listen to some dope out there tell me the wrong thing and wind up with a life sentence myself,
Well, you're in Washington State, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it varies state by state what's available to you as far as just even owning a gun. And I'm not familiar with Washington state rules, but the best thing you can do, if there are even, I know, Washington, especially Seattle, cities like that, I know it's probably impossible. But if you're not in any of these major blue cities, I would hope there's a gun store somewhere that offers a shooting range and people that are pretty educated and experienced in gun use and ownership and whatnot, and could let you know the laws. But there's certain things you could do before you even get a gun. Learn the laws of your state and municipalities so you're not screwing yourself and getting yourself in trouble by carrying when you're not supposed to, or carrying concealed or open when you're not supposed to. There are so many different rules and regulations and laws with guns. So, like I said, I'm not familiar with Washington, so I can't really help you on that aspect. But go to a gun store. Guys in gun stores love talking about guns. And,
Sure.
Don't be shy either. Say, hey, I'm pretty inexperienced. I'd like to get started somewhere. They love that, because all of them are just trying to know more than the next guy. It's a constant contest on who knows more about guns. So when someone comes in asking for advice and they're not very knowledgeable in the first place, they love giving education to people. So I'd suggest that. Get your ass to a gun store, Mike. There he goes, Mike. Yeah, education's the best thing you can get. These days, I don't know how anyone in a state or a city, obviously, that you can own a gun and carry a gun. I know there are plenty of places that only allow it in your residence. But with stuff you're reading these days and seeing, I see horrific videos every day. What am I saying? I saw a video. It was a guy posing as an Amazon delivery guy. And this happens a lot now because people are dummies. People don't know what they ordered from Amazon a day ago. So it's not odd that someone comes up with a package. They have an orange vest. They go up to the door. They have a little box in their hand and they knock on the door. And look, most people are trusting, too trusting. You don't open the door. First of all, leave it at the door. I'm fine with that. I will pick it up the second I see you drive away. I'll open the door and pick that up. There's no reason whatsoever. If you have a package that necessitates a signature, then you pretty much know you ordered it. It was that important or expensive or whatever you needed that you had to sign for the package. You'll remember it. And the guy's got the clipboard, but still, don't take anything for granted. And if someone just comes up with a little box and they got an orange vest on, are you an idiot? I'm this close to shooting through the door at that point. I'm teasing, of course. But I go to my door with a pistol on my hip, visible, every time someone comes to my door. I don't know. I'm loved and despised because of various programs I've made over the course of the years. Loved and despised. And as we've seen in history, both of those types of people might kill you. Loved or despised. So, I go to the door armed. And people call me paranoid. They say I'm black-pilled. I'm too negative about what. If you're bleeding out on the floor, is that what you're going to consider? Maybe I was too paranoid. I should have trusted more. I will never be sorry for being armed at any place, anytime. I will never be sorry because, first of all, 99.9% of the time, it doesn't matter. You never use your weapon. It's on you and it's concealed and no one has to know about it. You don't even think about it. But if you ever needed that thing, do you want it? Horror shows. There was another video I watched today. It was some woman getting to her front door. And she had a ring cam, and she had to come around a corner, and then she was face into the camera at her front door. She had her key out. She was moving very quickly, and she got that key in there, and then you heard the door open and close real quick. A split second later, this guy in a hoodie, and he's got a bag, and it just very sus, as the kids say, came around the corner. He looked, and then he just went away. He was looking to follow her right into her place of residence right there. She was smart enough to see and realize, have that head on a swivel, open that door and went in and shut it and locked it. And that's great. But look, the greatest locks, sometimes they don't do what need be done and keep bad people out of your house. And that's why I will always go to the door with a gun on my hip. Every single day. Unless I hear like, police! Then maybe I'll call. I'll call the police from the floor and ask, hey, is there an issue at such and such an address? But, again, for the most part, it can't hurt to just be ready. And it kind of prevents anyone from, we do there's a lot of services these days that we call and we have food delivered or anything delivered to our house. A lot of package companies, not just the Postal Service or UPS, FedEx. There's independent delivery services. And you don't know who these people are. And look, let's be realistic. For the most part, they're not independently wealthy. I think a lot of people that deliver stuff to other people are very strapped for money. And there's plenty of scenarios where the information they get from being able to interact with people that live in houses could be valuable to somebody that might want to rob a house or something worse. So I want those people. I want an Uber Eats person or whatever other food delivery service that might come to the house. I want them to know, like, all right, this guy is wearing a gun, picking up his spaghetti and meatballs. I'm not going to say this is a good house to maybe go into if I'm talking to my boys. So that's it. Got into guns for a second, which is always good with me. I am a strong advocate of the Second Amendment. I do appreciate it. L.A. Mayor Bass. She's another idiot. What? L.A.'s Mayor Bass, she should be hiding her head like the ostrich. I think that's a fallacy. I know it's a fallacy. But if you think about something and someone being so embarrassed at what they've done, she should have her head buried in the sand, never to utter another peep until her term ends, and walk away with your head down. The fires at the beginning of the year that destroyed some of the areas of her city, and she was in Africa. She was in Africa. The mayor of L.A. in Africa for some reason, and on the taxpayer's dime, she's useless. She appointed a lot of DEI executive fire positions. These lesbian women, and they were so ineffective at a time where you needed effectiveness. So here's L.A. Mayor Bass. I don't have a clip. Don't worry, guys at the studio. L.A. Mayor Bass saying she's going to be doling out taxpayer money. And why? Why do you think this is? Well, I'll tell you. Because ICE is out there raiding these places of employment that, for the most part, hire illegal aliens. This is something that's got to be dealt with, too. Believe me. I don't buy into the American kids will never do that job. They'd never do it. What a lie. What a lie. They want illegals to do these jobs. It's cheaper than American kids. It's easier. You gather them up at a Home Depot or wherever. But truth be told, if there were no illegals, you're saying farming would just shut down? If there were no illegals in this country, well, sorry, no more strawberries. I apologize, but there's no illegals left in this country. Somehow we muddled through it for a couple of centuries. And now, for some reason, we need illegals in our country. And you know who says the most? Liberals, Democrats. They're the ones that put this stereotype that illegals are needed to pick our food. Meanwhile, I don't think they ever say they could do anything else. One time on The View, who was it? Sharon Osbourne? No, it was the daughter there. Said, who's going to scrub your toilets? And everyone went, holy jeez. No, we all know it. You just don't say it. So they always go like, oh, really? Who's going to scrub your toilets? Who's going to pick your strawberries? Who's going to? So you're saying we're better than them. That's what they're saying. We're better than that. You lowlives do this, and we'll just enjoy the fruits of your labor. Quite literally, the fruits of your labor. But they try to put it in a way where it's supporting and defending illegals. So, oh boy, Karen Bass. She announced plans on Friday to provide direct cash assistance to people who have been affected by the Trump administration's sweeping immigration raids. So here's what she's going to do. The aid will be distributed using cash cards with a couple of $100 on them, which should be available in about a week, Bass said in a news conference. And here's why. You have people who don't want to leave their homes, who are not going to work, and they are in need of cash. So her point here, this is spectacular. Her point here is that because of the ICE raids and because they're illegals, they don't want to go to work. They don't want to get scooped up at a job site or picking your strawberries or cleaning your toilets. So she's just going to give them money to sit around at home and get through this tough time. How does that work? How does it have any perpetuity to it either? Like $200, all right, in a week. At some point, they're going to have to leave the house. You think in a week or two you're going to get ICE off their ass? I don't think so. But again, it's this fake. They just want it to look like they're doing something for these people. And again, California, Los Angeles, this is a state and a city that love illegals. They let them vote. They give them IDs when they have no paperwork or documents that they even live here or were born here or what have you. But this is what she's doing. More taxpayer money given to illegals to just kick around the house for a week or two so ICE can't just scoop you up. Like they'll lose interest. Like ICE will go, well, I guess we're done here. Mission accomplished, sir. Where's our next city? It's all a political stunt. She's stunting to do this. The aid will be distributed, using cash cards. Bass spoke about a family she met. They always have all these politicians. Biden was great for this. I met a family the other day. We were talking about issues at kitchen table issues. As you did not meet anybody. You're a blithering idiot. You have riddled with Alzheimer's. Bass spoke about a family she met who needed 2 incomes to afford their rent. So hold on. This has to be an illegal alien family. Because you wouldn't be afraid to go to work if you were legally here. Let's at least get that out there, right? Am I crazy for saying that? A family of illegals. They need 2 jobs to pay the rent. Illegal. After one of their breadwinners was detained in an immigration raid, she said the family is concerned they may face eviction. Okay. Now, the more I read the story, I see detained in an immigration raid. And now the family's concerned they might face eviction. So again, more just speculation and fantasies. They think up in their head what's going to happen next, even though it doesn't. It's like those people that said, my Medicaid, if it gets taken away, my kid's going to die. Well, if it didn't, it won't. Shut up. And she's saying pretty much the same thing here. One of the breadwinners detained. Did you have your ID on you? Obviously, if you're just detained in an immigration raid, which means, by the way, they pulled everyone aside and said, all right, we're checking IDs and documentation. You are detained right now. You can't leave. So what, for an hour, 2 maybe? And now they have to be afraid, a fear that only taxpayer money can fix. Ugh. It's infuriating. It was not immediately clear what the qualifications will be needed to receive the card. The mayor emphasized the money will not come from the city coffers, but from philanthropic partners. Oh, the cards will be distributed by immigrants' rights groups such as, immigrants' rights groups. So philanthropic groups. Well, we do that. Well, these are the groups that were getting money from places like USAID to then give money to the people. So it's not the government, not taxpayer money. Oh, it is. Because that taxpayer money is going into a group that then funds this nonsense. Do I really have to explain this? I don't think so. I think you people know. I think you people get it. But the motivation, is it purely for votes, or is it to quite literally destroy every American institution, everything we held dear for centuries? We'll be back in moments. Don't you go anywhere. The Anthony Cumia Show.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Hey, Anthony Cumia Show. Thank you again for tuning in. Another banger of a Sunday evening, hanging out with you fine people. I do appreciate that. And I'm going to make a statement here. I hope it doesn't get me in trouble. Who would have thought that electing a rapist would have complicated the release of the Epstein files? There it is. I said it. Is Donald Trump going to sue me? Are people going to get mad and say horrible things about me? Oh, wait a minute. That was AOC. That was Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Yeah, she posted this 26 million views on X. She posted it on the 11th and hasn't taken it down. I'll give her that. I don't know why, because based on some of the lawsuits Donald Trump and a couple of other people have landed, that's quite the allegation to make without, first of all, proof, and having gone through the legal system and never, ever being convicted of rape. Donald Trump was never convicted of rape. And I don't think AOC has realized ABC, not this company, not the company we're broadcasting on. ABC to pay $16 million. This happened in December 2024. $16 million to Trump Foundation, lawyer says, over rape libel claim. So Donald Trump has been accused of rape after these allegations and these civil suits, and that mental patient, whatever her name was, that mental patient, goofy-eyed, goofy woman that said she raped him. Never. And anyone that's been saying that has had to pony up some big bucks to Trump. And AOC, just the other day, gets on X and spills that accusation out to her audience. I don't see how Donald Trump cannot sue her. Get her to court. Take her to court. These are accusations and allegations that other people have paid dearly for. There's precedent there. The president's precedent. There's precedent there. And you'd be hard-pressed to find a judge that wouldn't side with Donald Trump on this, because it's in the record. The comments, by the way, on X, that's sometimes even better than the actual post are the comments, because people, they don't like seeing stuff like this. It's lies. It's libelous. And, people don't, a lot of people don't like this woman and would like to see something happen. Let's see this. Get ready to pay up. Telling this lie cost ABC $15 million. You realize your X account doesn't carry the same protections to defame people that you enjoy during your congressional proceedings. That's a good post right there. You know, she could go up during those congressional hearings and spout lie after lie and libel people, slander, just smear them. We've seen this happen in congressional hearings time and time again. And this guy is pointing out that, yeah, this is X. This is your personal account. This is who you are. You are saying this to millions of people. You can't then claim, what was this, 26 million people. AOC told 26 million people that Donald Trump was a rapist. You can't now claim that, oh, I was at a little party at my house and I told someone on the way to the bathroom that Donald Trump's a rapist. You put that out to over 26 million people. So good luck. I'd like to see how this goes. I hope Donald proceeds with some type of lawsuit for this. A lot of people, when was he convicted of rape? Now do Biden and his daughter is another comment. What does Bill Clinton have to do with this? That's about. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, and then there's people that agree with her. A rapist whose name is in the Epstein file. Like, so sure about it. So sure about it. I don't know. I don't know what we're supposed to do at this point. I hope damn well, because this is the type of justice I want to see. I want to see real justice. someone spills lies and libels somebody on a huge forum, a huge platform, they should have to pay the price. And for ABC, that price, I think it was Stephanopoulos who made a similar accusation on Donald Trump, and it cost ABC $15 million. Yeah, I think AOC should absolutely be held to this and have to pony up. I don't care how cute people find her. I don't care how well she fills a T-shirt. Doesn't matter. In the legal system, that type of nonsense doesn't matter. All that matters is that she libeled Donald Trump, calling him a racist, and that's a racist, a rapist, and a racist. And that's about that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. And we'll be back here next week. I'm looking forward to the softball game that I've been hearing so much about. I'll be part of that. I hope you will be too. Go to 77 WABC details. Anthony Cumia Show.
Hey, it's Anthony Cumia. Come root for the FDNY at an FDNY versus NYPD softball showdown on Sunday, July 20th, with net proceeds benefiting Shriners Children's. Over 18, hit it out of the park with a $1,000 home run derby and fastest pitch contest. Doors open at 9:30 a.m. John Sterling's going to be calling the game. Special guests Dwight Gooden, Greg Kelly, Dominic Carter, and many, many more. To buy tickets, go to ShrinersChildren'sChampions.org. That's ShrinersChildren'sChampions.org.